This is just a introduction of how to find out the bass line from a song using a program called Capo. And I have iTunes open right now, and I've got a song ready that I want to analyze. And so we'll switch over to Capo. And this is the latest version. It's 3.5.1. And we'll look for a new project, and we'll go back to iTunes and we'll drag a Beatles song, one of my favorites, Do You Want to Know a Secret? And it's building a project now, and you can see that it's calculating a spectrogram, and it'll get that to that in a later YouTube video. And it's determined the tempo is 124.4 in the key of A, and we've got a waveform, we've got the cover art for the album. So now we've made the window bigger, and the first thing I want to show you is how to tease out the bass line from a recorded tune, and then later how to play along with that tune. So first thing I'm going to do is start playing the song.
You'll never know how much I really love you. You'll never know how much I really care. Listen, do you want to know a secret?
So you'll notice about measure 8 or so that we start to hear the bass guitar. And so what we're going to do, and it's already selected over here, we're going to try to isolate the bass line. And you see kind of a spectral analysis here of the right or left channels, and we've got solo or mute. The first thing we're going to work on is solo. And what we can do, we can sample the frequencies from the right or left channel by moving the slider right or left or in the middle. And we can do the same thing with width. We can include as much as we can or as narrow of the portion of the mix as we can. So I'm going to keep playing the song, and we're going to kind of sample from the right or left by using the pan. And we don't hardly hear anything there.
Let me whisper in your ear.
And there we have a pretty good vocal separation, but we don't hear the bass. So we see the spike over here on the left, so we'll kind of move it over there, and now we will change the frequency range to the typical bass frequency range, which is usually around or less than 200. And now I'm going to turn up the volume on this. So now we can hear pretty clearly the bass line from this tune. And to make it even more clear, if you want to pick out those notes, we can slow it down without losing the pitch. And we'll go down to a half. And we'll go back up to the normal speed. So that's how you isolate the bass line. And again, if you look at the spectrum over here in this window, it depends on how the song was mixed. In the old days, especially with vinyl records, the bass, the kick drum, and the vocals were mostly in the middle between the right and left channels. And that was so, I guess, the needle would skip off the record. So it really depends on each and every song. Now, the fun thing you can do then with Capo is to mute the bass, and then once you've figured out the bass line, you can play along with the song. And I'm going to turn the volume down again, and we'll hit play. And you don't hear the bass line or bass at all And so that's kind of fun to play along with. We'll go back to solo, where we hear just the bass. And there it is. That's how you can isolate a bass line using Capo to figure out the bass line and then to play the bass line yourself while the bass is excluded from the song.